Separate the real from the fake. See, we got to get back to love. If we get back to love, then that's when we're going to get back to us.
It seems like it's never enough. And what do you say when you're...
Hello, everybody. This is Nate Boyd. Welcome to People Empowerment, where we would strive to change the conditions in our community. This morning, we're going to follow up with the second half of this interview with Mr. Carl Paladino, our newest member of the Buffalo School Board, and impassioned person about the plights in the lives of our children in the city. When we left off last show, it was getting pretty hot and heavy and heated with passion about what's going on. And so what Mr. Paladino said to me and what I would say to you out there, all of you people that are concerned with your children, all you people that see that enough is enough, then we have to do something about it, and it starts here with some new ideas. So I'm telling you now, Mr. Paladino has some new ideas for our children, so please, everybody, get that racial stuff out of your mind. Stop thinking about black and white and thinking about blood, the blood of your children, because the blood of your children is on your hands if you don't do something about it. Now, like I always say, my motto, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Mr. Paladino, it's good to have you back in here for the second half. We can continue. Now, when we cut off, you were just about to talk about the voucher system, your idea about to change what's going on. Okay. So let's get back into that.
Let me first talk about Pamela Brown. There's an effort right now on the Board of Education to, led by me, to relieve her of her responsibilities and send her home. As I was talking earlier about leadership, about the superintendent's position, this superintendent has a Harvard degree, a PhD in linguistics.
In linguistics.
Thousands of people have Harvard degrees. She was selected, and the thing that the board members at the time of her selection grabbed onto was the fact that she had a PhD from Harvard. They didn't look at the rest of her history. Now, by the way, let me say this. Pamela Brown is a wonderful lady. Pamela Brown made as much a mistake as the board made a mistake in coming to Buffalo. Here's a lady who had never been a superintendent anywhere, ever. She had never had the management background, management skills that it takes to lead a school district, especially a school district of 31,000 people. The rest of the country was laughing at us when we took her on. She was as naive as it could be, okay, to even come here in a district where we have a 46% graduation rate, where less than 20% of the black males graduate, where we scored respectively 9% and 11% on last year's state standardized tests for math and English. How could somebody who has absolutely no experience doing the job that she's going to take come to this place? And how could a board have hired her?
So it's a travesty.
It's sad. Now, what the board, what the sisters on the board want to do right now is they want her to stick around, and they want us to help her mature in the job. That's not why we pay the woman over $300,000 a year. Okay?
To teach her the job.
We don't have time. Our kids do not have time for this nonsense. Mm-hmm. Our kids do not have time to sit around for another year while she learns on the job how to be a superintendent.
Mr. Paladino, if she, it doesn't matter what color she is, if she was a black superintendent that was here,
no matter what color she was, she'd be gone.
But if she had the experience, there wouldn't be any problem with you, would it?
Never.
Would it?
No, absolutely
Why
not.
don't people understand that?
Here's a woman that was so bad after 6 months that the majority on the board went and hired a consultant to come in and prop her up. So we pay her $350,000 a year, Pamela Brown. We pay the consultant $425,000 a year. That's almost $800,000 a year that our district pays for superintendent services, and we get nothing because the consultant is as incompetent as Pamela Brown is in doing the job. And what else does this consultant bring us? We've hired 7, 8, 10 people from someplace else to come into Buffalo and take the higher executive level jobs in our school system. What does that do for the morale of all those administrators that have been working so hard all these
Take it
years
right down.
to get promoted by merit? What does it do for the morale of the teachers? Okay, they've got some stranger who doesn't understand us, doesn't know their names, has no idea what their performance has been in the past, and you bring them in and you put them in a supervisory position. That's nonsense. We have Yamilet Williams, a woman, number 3 in charge. We have Mary Gwynn, number 2 in charge. 2 people from someplace else, and when you look at their resumes real close, you find out that they've given themselves, they've self-defined their titles, turnaround specialist, okay? When I called the school system where they claimed that this woman was, Faith Alexander, was a turnaround specialist, when I called that school system and talked to the guy who was their boss, and I said, sir, on this resume it says 2010 to present, so for 3 years she worked for you. Tell me what you know about her. And he says, 3 years? She was only with us for 12 months. She's been gone for a couple years. I said, oh, that means that she must not have had a job for the last couple of years. And what's this title that she has? Turnaround Specialist Officer. And there's a long pause. And he says, that's creative. So what this is about now is coming in, these are carpetbaggers coming in for their ripoff of the Buffalo school system. They travel around the country, these people, okay, and Buffalo is their latest target. And they're gonna come in and they're gonna sap us, okay, and by the way, it was Mary Gwynn and Pamela Brown struggling to put in SIG grants, okay, state grants, to put in the applications. They kept failing, sending in bad applications. The EPOs had to send it in 4 times. The school choice program, okay, not only they send it in late, they sent it after the beginning of the school year. They didn't respond earlier, as the law says.
That everybody knows, too.
All right?
These are.
It's on its 3rd trip back, okay? I mean, it's nonsensical. They don't understand the job. They've never done it before. They have to go, all of them.
What's your suggestion?
Well, my first suggestion is we're going to release Pamela Brown.
Well, you say Pamela Brown has to go. If she goes, then who takes her place?
The board can sit there now with the new factors and say, who will be best to take this lady's place, okay? Don't we want to go out and get that best person from someplace else? The person that's already done it someplace else, and bring that person in.
The person that's already done it somewhere else.
Instead of going on a search, say, who wants to apply? Why don't we go out and say, there's the guy we want. How much is he getting paid right now? Well, he's making $300,000. We'll give him $400,000. We'll give you a signing bonus. We're going to give you a 1-year contract. You come in here, perform, we'll keep giving you the money every year.
Somebody who's got a proven track record.
He's done it. He's been there. And no, I don't care what he looks like. He could be deformed. Who cares? Okay, I want him, that person, okay, to be running our school district, to give our 31,000 kids an opportunity for education.
Got absolutely nothing to do with Pamela Brown. Nothing to do with who she is.
Nothing to do with
it's about our kids.
Yeah, it's about all. That's
People, I wish you start understanding that. This is about our kids, and I don't have any side either but the side of our children. It's ridiculous.
Now, we take our children and we put them on buses. 31,000 kids get on something like 500 buses every day to go to school.
Correct.
Little 6-year-olds, 12-year-olds, okay? The parents, some of them don't even walk off the porch.
That's right.
Kid stands up in front of the house and the kid's gone. That kid spends anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day on a bus. They're taking that kid from his neighborhood and his friends, and they're putting him someplace else in a strange neighborhood with strange people. They've blocked out 2 to 3 hours a day of his attention span.
Got you.
And this is the game we play. By the way, it costs us $52 million a year to bus children around the city of Buffalo. When I was a kid, I went to PS 43. It was a neighborhood school. We didn't have any bus.
When I was a kid, I went to school 53 right across the street from my house.
Right across the street from
Right across the street from my house.
when I was younger, my mother would walk us down the street and bring us to school. After that, we'd walk down the street. The neighbors would all pay attention. They'd say, "There's little Johnny today. There's little Gina today."
And it was good.
And yeah, they kept an eye on you. All right, you did something wrong, they'd call your mother. Because there was a neighborhood fabric.
That's right.
Every year, every class in the school would put on a play, and that play would be a Thursday afternoon, and it was a neighborhood thing. It wasn't only the parents and other students that came to the play. It was the whole neighborhood came. That was their entertainment, to come and see little Johnny and Gina, in the play. Unfortunately for me, that didn't work out too well because I had no talent, and I was a curtain puller, so my relatives wouldn't get to see me. But it was a neighborhood fabric. It was building the neighborhood fabric. It was people getting to, it was the teachers getting to know the neighbors, getting to know the people that lived and their children were going to school. That's what we have at School 67 on Abbott Road, okay? It's a neighborhood school. 85% of the kids are in the neighborhood. The parents participate in the schooling. I had a case last week where a poor lady, it was so sad. She's got 2 elementary school kids. One goes this way, one goes this way. She said, "How am I supposed to participate in the education of my children? They bust them in 2 different directions. What kind of nonsense is this?" And then you hear about this, we can't go back to neighborhood schools because it's school choice. You know, it's much better. There is no choice. It doesn't exist.
Why did they put all the money in these schools if they don't want the kids to go to them? Like 53. I look at that school now, man. It's so beautiful. Why can't the kids from that neighborhood go to that school? Why do other kids from other neighborhoods have to go to school 53 when all the kids in the neighborhood could be going there? Explain it to me. I don't get it.
Nate, if I figure that out,
Why would they spend all this money on rebuilding these neighborhood schools if you're not going to put the kids in the neighborhoods in those schools, Mr. Palladino? Yeah. People, what's wrong with you? Pay attention. What's going on? Tell me about your voucher
for a second to the school choice. Okay. As I said, school choice is a federal law. The federal law says very clearly, if a child is in a non-performing school under state standards, that child has a right before the next school year to go to a performing school. We have 45 out of 57 schools that are failing. 27,000 kids have a right to go to a better school. The better schools in our system are all full. What are we doing about it? The state comes in and says, use BOCES, use charters. There's pushback. They don't want it. They don't want to give up a nickel. They don't.
That's what it is. Money.
Here's
Control
the budget.
Of the money.
$965 million. Take $101 million out because they give for 8,900 kids in the charter schools. They give $12,000 each. Actually, the Buffalo Public Schools receive $19,000 per city student. Okay, the 8,900 that go to charters, they only give them $12,000. That means that the balance between 19 and 12, $7,000, is kept by the Buffalo Public Schools. When you put that on top, all of a sudden you come out with $28,000 we have available every year for per student in the Buffalo Public Schools. Now, it would cost them $7,600 of that money to send the kids to BOCES for a BOCES program, a vocational program. We'd still have to teach them the academic programs, but they would be able to have and enjoy a vocational program. They keep touting that, we have one in Buffalo. They don't have a program in Buffalo. They don't, remember years ago we had Emerson and Burgard, they were all different vocational programs, and a kid would actually go to that school. Now we have some vocational programs in some of the schools, but they're no specific school. So if you're not already in that school, there's no way for you to go to that vocational program. It's really upside down.
Answers.
The answer?
Answers.
So simple.
Come on, answers. Let's hear it.
A voucher from the state of New York. It says, your child has a right to go to any school he wants, and we're giving you the money that we would otherwise be giving to the school district. We're giving you this piece of paper which you can take to any school and cash it in for your child's education.
Now let's stop right there.
Any school, being a private school, a charter school, a Catholic school, a
Private school?
or a public school.
So you're advocating for the people. Now understand, he's advocating that from the state, every household with these children in it be given these vouchers specifically for their children to go to the best possible school for the best possible education. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
How could anybody out there be against that?
Now let me tell you one more thing. A number of states have this.
Really?
Okay. They've had some use tax credits, some use vouchers. Okay, but a number of states have it. Bobby Jindal in Louisiana did it, and he said, "We're not going to give it to every kid out there in the state of New York or in the state of Louisiana.
Okay.
We're going to give it to the children who are in the challenged schools." So in other words, if you can't keep your school performing, the penalty is you're going to go out of business, because we're going to let those kids travel with their vouchers, okay, and go to whatever school they want. If you got the kids in a performing school, we won't give them vouchers, okay? It's only the kids in a non-performing school. In other words, the minority, the poor, okay, the underprivileged children.
You hear that, Buffalo?
Get
You
a
hear that,
right
Sam Radford?
to go. There's 27,000 children in non-performing schools in Buffalo. Fine. If they don't want to raise the performance of that school, these kids are going to travel. They're going to go to wherever they want, and we will then rebuild our community, okay?
How soon could something like that be started? How soon could you make it
If
happen?
Cuomo had the intestinal fortitude, if he had a backbone, he would have started this. He could have started it last week when he came to Buffalo and says, I'm going to help the urban education problems in our state. This is the one thing he could do, and it's so easy.
So easy? How easy is it? Just to
He'd have
put it into
to get the legislature to agree to give vouchers to the students in non-performing schools in the state of New York.
What can the parents of the students do to make this happen? Tell the parents directly, what can they do to make this happen?
Well, next year they get to vote for governor, they get to vote for their state legislators. You know, no, you're not going to find a Crystal Peoples liking this. She won't like it. Nor will Sean Ryan. They won't like it. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the whole thing is about keeping the urban minorities in the urban minorities, okay? Because you vote for the Democrats, all right? And as long as you're captive and poor, you're begging to them, they get your vote.
The Democrats
That's
get your vote. So
That's the nonsense.
and that's how it's been going on too,
That's
because
the way.
poor people believe that the Democrats are working in their best interest just because they're the Democrats.
You tell me what the urban poor have in common with New York State United Teachers.
Certainly isn't graduating
New York
kids.
State United Teachers is the statewide union. Its affiliate, the Buffalo Teachers Federation, headed by Phil Rumore. They're the ones that set out these policies, okay, that the state, because through their Sheldon Silver, who's the head of the assembly, he deprives us of these opportunities, okay, because he's on the take from NYSUT. NYSUT gives him huge money every year to all his campaign funds and all this other nonsense. You tell me what the urban poor have in common with the New York State United Teachers.
So you're trying to say this is a plan to keep the poor poor, to keep the uneducated uneducated, to keep the jail systems filling up with our uneducated urban youth who don't have a choice in the life that they're given? It's horrible. It's horrible. And I understand your passion for it. I always say, why is he trying so hard? What does he care about it? You care about the people, the kids. You don't have a child in the Buffalo public school system, do you?
No.
But you got all this passion, and you don't need the job. Obviously, we already said that. So I don't understand why people can't see your passion.
I do not take any compensation. I'm the one board member who has waived his compensation. I don't take any compensation.
Do you know I start taking offense now lately when people start talking about Paladino, because most of the ideas you done came up with are about our kids, and it's not about, just keeping it real, mostly little white kids. It's not about that, because what's in our districts that are failing are little black kids, little Puerto Rican kids, and little other, minority kids. So why can't they see that?
The black leadership, including those on the Board of Education, are all part of this thing of maintaining the status quo. It keeps them in their power positions. It keeps them making money. It keeps them in their jobs. and they're happy with it. But this is where the rubber hits the road. When we're talking about these kids that we're depriving of a future because to take care of a few politicians doesn't make any sense to me.
Jesus Christ. Everybody remember, you watching People Empowerment. I'm Nate Boyd, the host of People Empowerment. My guest here is Carl Paladino, newest member of the school board, unpaid member of the school board. Remember that, unpaid member of the school board, whose only wish is to see the education improve for our kids. Now, I'd like to go back for a minute with Mr. Carl Paladino, back on this voucher school system, back on this boarding school thing, because it really intrigues me, you know. And if you can't catch this, like I say, on cable access, the people that go to the website, I heard over the last 3 months, I have over 20,000 hits to the website. Keep coming. Tell people if they want to see this program, go to the website and they can see both of them immediately. Let's get back on that, on the voucher system.
The voucher program and the seed school program are cutting edge. They're out there. Many states have adopted them. Many communities are very invested in that. It isn't that you're going to start a boarding school and take the whole grade levels, okay, all of them. You're going to start with 6-year-olds, you're going to put them in there, and they're going to slowly move up, and over the period of 15 years, you'll be able to change a whole generation of children. Those children that are in the 7th and 8th grades right now, I don't know what you can do for them. Okay?
Almost too late?
It's almost too late. They've already been conditioned to a different life, and it's sad. It's so sad for just the reasons you just said.
So conditioned to a minimum life with minimum possibilities, minimum goals for the future.
We have a 46% graduation rate. That means that 54% of the kids that started high school didn't finish it. And why? We have children graduating from 8th grade who can't read and write. I have people coming in my office applying for a job, and they have to ask my receptionist to read a question for them and so that they can fill out the answer. This is not right. We don't have to put up with this. One person can make a difference. One person. This doesn't need a whole political array of politicians yakking, okay, about the political effect of denying urban education. This is people standing up for what they're entitled to.
So people should be outraged.
I think Sam Radford's a very good man. I think he's well-intended, but he only goes so far. He doesn't want to insult those ladies, okay? And that's very nice. I'll insult them, all right? Because I know my role. My role is to change things, okay? And to give an opportunity for change. And that's what I will continue to do while I'm sitting on this school board.
And that's my role, to change things too. And that's why I asked you to come on here. That's why I asked you to come onto this venue so you could share with the public what's going on. Because I swear to you, I keep saying this, people have to go beyond looking at color. They have to go beyond hearing the rhetoric of words, of hostile words, of words of hate. You know, trying to keep us to hate each other, trying to keep us apart, not to be able to work with each other because of the color of our skin, instead of going on the content of our character. You know, too many times this happens. How can a person realistically sit here and listen to you talk with this passion about changing what's going on in our school system and not think that you care about the kids and that you have some type of hidden agenda? It sickens me. It sickens me. What's your suggestion for people, concerned parents right now who feeling futile and feeling lost?
Support
the next step they could do.
Support the change of this superintendent.
How do they do that?
They can call up City Hall. They can write to the board president, Barbara Nevergold. They can send her messages and emails and tell this Board of Education that it's time for change, okay? Time to get the right person. We can't let these kids go one more day in dysfunctional schools. We need change. We need the best people leading, people that are visionaries, people that the employees will have respect for, the teachers. We have so many hardworking teachers. We have so many hardworking principals. We have people that have been striving by merit to achieve better for themselves, and they don't even know if they have a job tomorrow.
It's pathetic. Yeah. And you're talking about losing the morale of these great teachers who would aspire to become better and become better leaders, and then we got these people coming in from out of town.
And they're victims of bad leaders, just as the children are victims of bad leaders on the Board of Education. the principals and their union leader and the teachers and their union leader, okay, they have to straighten things out amongst themselves. They have to get union leaders, okay, who aren't all out for, I mean, if you are a powerhouse, and by the way, you have to give Phil Rumor a lot of credit. He has beat the hell out of this, the negotiators for the city.
Yes, he has.
He has taken advantage of them in every possible way. And it's not necessarily pay or benefits that's of concern. It's the management rules that they've taken away. That they have a right to say, you know, when school starts, when school ends, how many hours they're going to teach a day. We'll pay them more money. We want extended school days.
Yes,
we
we
want
do.
extended school years.
Yes, we do.
We'll give them the additional money
we
for
do.
that. It's there, okay?
Yes, we do.
But when we have a $400,000 or $500,000 music program that they ended, listen to this, they ended it. They said it's over in these schools, the music program for instrumental music. Okay.
Why?
They said it's over. And I've come up and said how many different ways they waste $500,000 here, $500,000 there. They hire all these lame people from someplace else to come in here. They've got farcical programs. There's no management, all right? No management in different areas of the operation. We're talking about over 4,000 employees in this operation.
You know, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Paladino. I applaud your efforts. You know, I appreciate you doing what you're doing. And I know that there's no ulterior motive except to improve what's going on with our kids. You're just like me. You're sick of seeing our kids grow up and go straight to jail. You're sick of seeing our urban community so down, and these people are uneducated. Even if they wanted to get a job, a lot of them are so uneducated, how can they even understand it? Like you say, the applications at your job to even fill them out. You know, so it all boils down to education. And if we don't do something about changing our education system, what's going to change for urban society? What's going to change for our kids?
That's the essence. It's the essence of the futures of all those kids, just as it was the essence of their parents. We didn't help their parents, okay? Their parents are running dysfunctional homes because, I mean, they had to drop out. They dropped out. They went out and tried to find a job. They got some menial job at best. Other than that, it's crime.
I was a dropout.
You know, other than that, it's just, you know, I mean, you didn't feel like you could achieve. But they didn't give you an opportunity to go to a vocational program, did they?
No, they didn't.
I mean, had they made you and said, you know, you might want to try welding because you got a good hand-eye coordination and whatever, and you might want to try to be a welder. You know what welders make today? Do you know what plumbers make?
Oh, my God, yes.
Electricians?
Oh, my God, electricians,
All right?
45
We
an
got
hour.
kids coming out of colleges that would dream to make the money that these guys are making.
Sure, you're absolutely right.
We could be sending thousands of Buffalo students to both these vocational programs already established, already know what they're doing.
I hope you're not going to stop the fight. I hope you're not going to stop fighting with much passion as you are. I know I'm going to get on board in any way that I can to help out and definitely bring you back on this program so your voice can continually be heard out in the community until they get it and understand what's going on. Because how much more important could this be? The lives of our children, the education of our children. We're in the last minute of the show, Mr. Paladino. So just take about 30 seconds, please, before I finish up, please. Just to say something to the people quickly, please.
When we start thinking about one community, in that instance, we have to go back when we were one community, when we had a guy like Joe Manch and Joe Murphy and Rocco Lamparelli leading our school system. When we went to school and the whole fabric of the neighborhood was together. Because of a ruling 50, 60 years ago that...
Everybody, I'm sorry, we out of time. I appreciated that so much. He's telling me to close it up. I just want to get the ending in. I'm Nate Boyd from People Empowerment, the host. Carl Pilt will be back. Until then, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention.